Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com.
In fact, this is how the Jenkins jobs is created. Let's create a new job once again today.
Okay.
Give it some meaningful name. And so far we are focusing on a freestyle project, right?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we can give it like let me put something. Okay.
So very first option is freestyle job, and freestyle job. Everyone who is starting Jenkins, if you go through this freestyle job, will feel very comfortable because you'll see many of the options on the screen, and by looking at those options, user can, or the developer or a DevOps engineer like you, can understand what is to be done. You get many of the hints. So for anyone who is a beginner, it's fine to spend some time on these jobs, and you grab fundamentals by creating these jobs.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try select the very first option, which is the freestyle project.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think I hit it 2 times. Okay, that's fine. Okay, yeah, options are right here.
Usually the purpose of each job, whichever job you create, is to pull some code from the repository, and that's why it's we configure this source code management section. However, you can see an option none, which we did not discuss last time because we focused on how to connect it to Git. None is an option. There can be some jobs where you need not pull any code from the source code repository, Git, or any of the repository. So if somebody asks or questions you, is it possible to create jobs without connecting it with the repository, any of the repository, Git repository or CVS repository or TFS repository, Azure DevOps repository? The answer is yes.
Okay.
But mostly you keep your code in some repository. So generally this is configured. However, it's possible to have jobs without a repository as well. That's why the none option.
So in that case, Hemant, like where do we check in the code? Do we check in like over here in Jenkins itself? Like how it works? Like if we say none, I mean, is it?
Okay, let's take it. Let's run a job without a repository. Scroll down. We are not configuring source code here.
Okay.
Scroll now. What you need to build, you'll find an option for build. What you want to build.
Yeah, it's like build environment. Yeah. Okay.
Scroll down.
Yeah.
At step execute Windows shell environment.
Okay. Okay.
This is the Windows shell. In fact, if let's see more options before we see or try to write the commands in this window. What are the other options in build?
Can I
Okay.
add something here? Can I add
Yep.
something at here? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what happened if you click on a few more options, so just for your knowledge, Rajiv, as the most of the applications which you guys are working on it as
Mhm.
a CI/CD person, right? You mentioned that most of application from Java side, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
in a Java side, we have the basically three tools are there, which is called as a build tool. One is basically called the AND, okay, which is
Right.
pretty much outdated. Generally, we don't
Right.
use these days, right?
Yeah, I
Apart from
think
this,
they don't support it anymore because yeah, Ant is
right,
almost done.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Now, another options we have the Maven and a Gradle. Okay.
Gradle, right.
Still, the Maven is pretty much stable. Very people are more comfortable. Still, they are using the Maven, right? So you can
Right.
run the Maven command or you can run the Gradle command. Gradle is slightly more advanced than the Gradle. Gradle is take some of the good things from the Maven and what are the good things from the Ant.
Okay.
So that's the mix of the both, right? But still, most of the application they are using the Maven, and once you're going to run the Maven, right? I hope in your application you guys are using the Maven, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Maven and Gradle, yes, because yep, those two
Maven
things.
and Gradle, right?
Yeah.
So in a
Yeah.
Maven, basically we run the one command, right? Ambient space clean space install. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So now
Yes.
if you are not pointing to the gate, okay. So how the things going to work? So assume it you created the Jenkins job, right? So some place or some server, some location you have to run this Jenkins job, okay.
Right.
If the same place you are going to run the Maven clean install command, okay.
Right.
That's in the same place you have the pom.xml. If it is
Right.
that's not a case, right? Then you have to give the relative path, right, for the Maven command, right? Whatever the relative path where your segment, your script is in a folder A, okay, and your project is in a folder B location where the pom.xml is there. So from
Okay.
A to the B, you have to give the path for the Maven, right?
Okay.
And that Maven clean install there. So basically, what happens once you
Hey viewers, our Master in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
are going to invoke this job, right? Or this job is going to be hit if you're not mentioned in the gate, then this job as a part of this thing is going to run the Maven command. And Maven is going to look for the pom.xml. So as you already mentioned the relative path, then it is going to refer to that location and it's going to create the build. Okay. Now when you're going to deal these type of scenarios, once you're going to build is going to create, it's going to go in a target folder.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
now the next step, basically, once you're going to run the Maven clean install, right, for the build process, before that you have a quality gates. If all the quality gates is going to be passed, right, then what you're going to do is that from that location you are going to run a Maven clean build, right? And as we expected, the folder will be it's going to create the build in a finally target folder, and that's the thing is expected. The only challenge you are going to get this thing is there that you are going to run this right, this Jenkins job maybe in a folder A, and when we're going to scan the code for the quality gates may be available in a B. So each and every time you have to give the relative path.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But
Yeah.
generally in real time scenarios, we don't go with these things. This is the way. If somebody don't want to use the gate and anything, and they want to like on-premise build, right? Via this thing, so Jenkins supporting. But in a real time, we generally check in a gate, and even if the local code is there, we can check in a gate because the companies have the option for the private gate repository, so nobody can outside. So we generally go with the gateway. Does it answer your question?
Yeah. It did. Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah, Hemant, you can continue. Yeah.
So we can see the option if you click this. Yeah. So you can see multiple type of scripts are possible. Execute Windows shell script, which is nothing but PowerShell. Second is your execute shell, which is your shell script. The third one is your invoke. I cannot see these options.
Invoke Gradle script, it says. Yeah.
So it's the same thing the way we talk about the Maven.
Yeah.
Correct. invoke a top level Maven target, run with timeout, and set build status to pending on git commit.
GitHub commit. Okay.
GitHub commit. So these are the options. For simplicity, let's start with the very first option.
Okay. Okay.
First option, PowerShell scripts you have used in the past as well. It will be easier to understand what these commands are. The very first option, the batch, Windows batch.
And this is the agnostic to the language also, right? So it may be using Java, .NET, for all the things your same command is going to run.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, I wanted to ask something about webhook, but that's fine. Like we can finish this off that, I can.
Okay, I can tell you. If you already asked this thing, what's the concept of the hook, right?
Yeah.
If you talk about the hook,
that thing, because, and how are they written? Like, I mean, from my company, like what they are using, I tried to get it out. I mean, there is something, but I can't understand the whole thing, like what it is. I mean, based on, I think it's a PHP script or something.
the hook? Do you know what's the hook concept?
I understand the concept, like, because I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong. I just understand that, okay, if I mean, if a developer or someone has hit commit, then if that particular commit, as per what we have over here in, I mean, what I'm doing, it's like if the commit is on master branch or any other like branch they have mentioned, you need to trigger a build. That is what. And the commit is like you have to stop, I mean, block the jar files, DLL files, or any other files from being uploaded in the GitHub. Vikas.
No. So basically the hook concept at here, not here basically. If you talk about the CI, if you talk about the programming, React and every place, hook is the same way like a hook, right? So hook idea is there that if you want to perform the some action, okay, some action is completed, right? So assume it like a pre and post. So before that action or post that action, right? So two type of hooks are there. Pre-hook is there. Before performing that action, if you want to take another action or if you want to perform some operation, okay, so that's called a pre-hook. And whenever pre-hook is going to trigger, then there is one operation, assume it A is associated. So before going to perform that, process, okay, sorry, it may be confusing. So assume it if you're going to complete the process A, okay, so before you start the process A, that means before the commit or before the build or before the deploy, if you want to perform the operation B, right, then first operation B is going to perform, then your commit is going to happen, or maybe your deploy is going to happen, or your build is going to happen, or whatever task, right? Or second is still like a post hook, right? So once the task just completed, then after it, if you're going to perform the new operation, that's the concept of the hook. Okay. Okay. Now, as a part of operation, what the thing you want to communicate, it's totally up to you.
Okay. So those hooks are stored in GitHub, right? Because like it's not on this part, right? It's not on Jenkins.
It depends how you want to define the hooks. What the things? If you are going to say that in a hook, you are going to perform the program like Java or something related, then better write it and commit it. Okay. If you want to perform that any plugin related stuff which more associated with the Jenkins, then put in a Jenkins. It's a case to case based call.
Okay. Yeah. Clear now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Hemant.
Yeah, sure. So in fact, last time I missed to ask you what technologies you are working on. So now it's clear Java. So I'll have some samples ready for you.
Yeah, no, actually it's both. Like when majority are in Java, then number 2 would be like .NET, where they have like DLLs and other stuff. I mean, I don't know how to write the file and all, but yeah, I know like this .NET, and then like number 3 is Python, where like they don't compile and all. I think it's basically like they just stage it and then they deploy it, I believe. Right, that's what they're with the Python project. So yeah, these 3 kinds of projects are there in my organization as of now, Ahmed.
So Python is again compiled, but let's not go into the detail why your team is not compiling those. I'll focus on Java projects as well as on .NET projects. So I'll keep some small samples ready that will help me. But I did not have any idea what technologies you are using for now. So we are trying to look at can a job run without a repository or not? This is an example.
Okay.
In this command window, which is a PowerShell command, type echo.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Space. And in double quote, whatever message you want to print, that would be printed.
Okay.
Yes. And to make it more meaningful, because yes, this is how each beginner start, but let's add some more detail. In the interest of time, let's add a second line echo space.
Yeah.
Dollar.
Okay.
And everything in caps, workspace.
Okay.
Enter.
Okay.
And this is what you are adding in your script. This is what you want to see when you run your job. If you save this, run this job, this will be successful. We go to the console window and see what has been printed out and what we mean by dollar workspace.
Okay. Build now.
So the message has been printed.
Right.
And let's try to read what has been done. Let me take the control.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you the control, Hemant.
Yes, please.
Make remote control. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
So this is the location, and from this location, it is trying to run this command.
Right.
And it is echoing that, showing that command also, and this is the output.
Okay.
Similarly, the second statement is trying to be executed.
Okay, the workspace. Okay. There are two, right? I mean, it says echo works dollar workspace and then again a workspace. Okay.
There is something wrong. There is something wrong with this command. Dollar workspace. The command looks to be okay. Maybe some space or something. Let me check what is the issue. What operating system you have?
This is Windows, Hemant, yeah.
It should in Windows it should work. Echo and dollar workspace. So the spelling is correct. Instead
no,
of
no. In place of the dollar, here you have to put the percentage and percentage. Before the
Windows
percentage.
Windows it is dollar.
Dollar or percent? Okay, sometimes I also confuse. Is it dollar or percentage? So just try with the percentage also.
Percentage will not work.
Not work?
In Windows we use dollar.
Okay.
So command is correct. 1 second.
No, in a Windows it's work the percentage. Just run the path command. So just try it with the echo percentage. Echo percentage space percentage.
Okay. You want me to change it, Hemant? Like on that project?
Yes. Okay.
Because I just run the percentage echo percentage path percentage, so it works for the Windows. So let me try dollar also.
Okay. Echo.
No, dollar don't work. Percentage. And
then
after the workspace, percentage, yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Let me
Now
save
try to run it.
Yeah, better now. See. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
See, now it's printed the workspace, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is the path which is being printed, and this is the workspace path.
Right.
And it is necessary to understand this concept. If you look at, if you go to any of these jobs, you'll find a folder which is called as workspace.
Okay.
Workspace is actually the directory where your code gets compiled.
Okay.
If your job is running on the master node itself, this folder will exist on master node. If it is this job is getting executed on a child node, this folder will exist on the child machine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And this is the absolute path. It's from the debug perspective. When you try to debug your applications, this workspace will help you many a times fix the issue or understand what has gone wrong. So if you look at the job, which job we executed today?
6/21, today's date. Yeah, this one.
This one.
Yeah.
So if we go to the second job.
Yeah.
This is the folder. And since you are running this executor on your local machine, if you go to this folder, try to go to this folder, you will see.
Okay. Yeah, I can get
this folder created on your machine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Oh wait, see users Rajiv. I can go anyway.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Jenkins workspace. Start workspace. Yeah, it's here.
Project.
Yeah.
This is the folder where if you try to build your job or run your job, if you are running the same job, same folder will be used every time.
Oh, okay.
This is the project folder. Your Rajiv underscore 21 January, 21 June, whatever date you have put in. It's a project. So this is a project folder.
Okay. Okay.
So all your code you can see in this folder. In future, whenever you face some issue, you can see those files in this folder.
Okay. Okay.
Going to the executor machine, which can be your master machine itself, or it can be your child machine itself, or a slave machine.
Oh, okay. Okay. Makes sense then.
We executed the script, which is inline. If you go to the job once again.
Yeah. Yeah. This one now. So this one, I believe. Yeah.
We'll go back to the configure dashboard. This job. Configure. This time you in fact executed a command, but you added an inline script because within Jenkins you created or typed your statements.
Oh, okay.
This mode is called inline scripts.
Okay. Okay.
Because within Jenkins window you are typing your commands.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You can have a shell script or any other type of script as well.
Okay.
But all of these are an example of inline scripts.
Okay. Okay. So Hemant, what you showed, like So this workspace, like it goes, so I mean, really, if there is like a vast amount of projects that are out there, I believe that's why they have more slaves and executioner to, like, you know, it'll fill it up, right? This space will get filled up, I mean, as more and more projects get in, right?
Definitely. And if the size of your Git repository is big, it will take time to pull the code and get in this folder. Job will be slow. So as the size of the repository increases, the time to execute the job will increase definitely, and you need more folder or size, this size in your executor machine.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, makes sense. Okay.
Workspace is what? Workspace is a folder, but at the same time, what we have done is workspace also represent an environment variable, which is another important concept of Jenkins jobs. There are environment variables which you need not remember, or when Jenkins gets installed, it gives you some values out of box.
Okay. Okay.
There are multiple environment variable, and to see the list of those environment variable, try open this localhost 8080, and I'm pinging you one name, one path. 1 second.
Okay. Oh, so they are like by defined, I mean, it's defined by default, like they take this value, right? I mean, such as, for example, in this case, workspace is there, so it's okay. Okay.
I'm trying to ping you. Where is the window? See the window.
Oh, let me ping. Let me ping.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So this one.
Okay. Okay.
So if you go to the browser.
Yeah, let me go. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Went there. Thing.
Localhost, whatever the initial path is, slash this file name.
Okay. Okay.
Localhost
8088 is, hang on, LOCA host. Oh, not like this.
That's fine. Which browser you're using?
This is yeah, localhost 8080. This is, I think, as Windows default browser, which they have updated now. Shall I try it in on Chrome or something?
I'm giving you the absolute path. 1 second to avoid any confusion. Your machine is configured on 8080 HTTP localhost :8080/ and then this path. I gave you the URL once again.
Okay. Okay.
Click this URL.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I can click it directly and let's see. Yeah, it came in now. Yeah. Okay.
These are the predefined variables, and if you search for the workspace, you'll find that already existing here.
Oh, okay. So one thing, Hemant, like I mean, this predefined variable, is it like if I want to suppose check for organization or something, can we check like this? Like, I'm just asking, is there a way?
These are predefined. Yes, you need not remember. So as you keep working, you'll get an idea what these variables are for. But still, if you sometimes forget these variables, you can come to this page and have a look at all the variables which has been defined by the Jenkins.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Search for workspace and we'll get the definition what you mean by workspace.
Okay.
And what will happen if you try to use that variable.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah.
Workspace, the absolute path of the directory assigned to the build of a
Build as a workspace. Yeah.
build as a workspace. So this is the definition, and this is the complete list of all the variables. In the job, you can try use any of these variables.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll switch on to connecting the Git and one or two variables which are very important and many times help you debug your if your build is failing, that will help you.
Okay.
So use any of other maybe build ID.
Okay. Okay. Build ID. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we can modify it and echo what it is, right?
Yes, echo.
Oh, it should. Okay, that should be fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me save and.
The configure has been done. It's time to run the job.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a third build, I think, is success.
Yeah, console
output.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.